How's it going? Welcome back, my beautiful sinners, to another great and majestical video here with your boy, the Savior. That's right, still keeping it fresh, still keeping it moist. You know how we do it. Even though we have now reached 5,000 subscribers, you can see I'm still obtaining the same amount of wonderful quality here in my bedroom. That's right, you can see my bed in the background because I'm such a professional YouTuber. And if you're new to the channel, which is highly likely, go down below and subscribe. That would mean a great deal to me. Thank you very much, and support me by checking out my music on all music platforms. I want to talk about the Mass Effect Legendary Edition, which is the new and hottest game coming out in recent memory because everyone loves Mass Effect. Of course, why wouldn't you love Mass Effect? It was a great game series back in the day, and of course, when they tried to make something new and original, it just turned into complete dog shit. I mean, look at this. It's absolutely disgusting. You know, this is the stuff of nightmares. Seeing the animations and the faces of the characters in the new Mass Effect game pretty much gives me PTSD, and it basically gives me horrible flashbacks to Vietnam, okay? So that's why they've gone back to the basics and they've remastered the original Mass Effect, okay? But I have a problem with this, okay? Because I don't like gaming remakes. I don't like video game remakes. I don't like video game remasters, okay? And let me tell you why. Just a little bit of moist. Now, if you're new to the channel, you won't know this, but I absolutely hate the gaming industry nowadays. The modern day gaming industry has just become complete poison, if you ask me, because they use the same old mechanics. You know, it's always the recycled gameplay loop. They've got no originality, no soul left anymore. You know, it's filled with microtransactions and all these greedy practices, and they just lie. They straight up just lie to the consumers. And because gaming has become so massively popularized now that people will buy pre-alphas, betas. Look at Cyberpunk 2077, for example. That was a complete disaster, and it just shows that you can't trust these big corporations and these big gaming companies nowadays, because yes, they've become so big that it's as big as Hollywood and as big as movies now, but that means that they know they can take advantage, and they know that they can just put in the bare minimum and basically just have cash grabs all around, okay? And that's pretty much the gaming industry now in the modern day and age, and I absolutely hate it. So the reason why I think Mass Effect Legendary Edition sucks, okay? I might say that in the title. I might say Mass Effect Legendary Edition sucks, and Mass Effect Legendary Edition is not worth it, okay? I might say something like that, but by all means, okay? It's your money, you can buy whatever you want. If you want to spend your money on something that you've previously played and that you've previously bought 3 times, then, you know, be my guest, okay? But it just really grinds my gears, okay? This idea of video game remakes and video game remasters. The reason why video game remakes and video game remasters need to stop is the fact that it's basically poisoning the industry, okay? Because nowadays, we see that everything is just a remake, everything is just a remaster, and it's the same thing with movies and Hollywood, okay? You know, they take the same old idea that's already been done, and they just rehash it, okay? Oh, this is a different movie because it's basically a woman-empowered movie, and it's just with a woman's cast. They just take the same ideas and then they rebake it into slapstick, outlandish, you know, just disgusting, watered-down humor for the lowest common
lowest common denominator.
That's what I'm trying to say. You know, it's just simply repackaged garbage. The reason why video game remakes need to be stopped, and the reason why I hate video game remakes, is because it's just completely saturated the industry now. Like I said, in the last, like, 5 years, it's all just been remasters, remakes, okay? Nothing new is being made, and that is just so boring, okay? As a consumer, as a gamer, okay? It's just so stale and boring, because you have to look at indie game developers and indie filmmakers who are actually pushing the envelope forward now, because they're not afraid to take risks and actually make something unique, put in new mechanics, new ideas, you know, new forms of writing and dialogue and coding, okay, that actually pushes the industry forwards. But the mainstream, these big game developers who are basically now just Hollywood for games, okay, they just play it safe. They just make the same old games over and over and over again, and if that isn't horrible enough, and if that isn't insulting enough to the consumer by just making the same old games over and over again, like Assassin's Creed, another Call of Duty, another Call of Duty, you know, it's just the same thing. They actually go back and then they just remake the same old games that have already been released, like Mass Effect, like Diablo, for example. There are so many games, okay, that are just being remaked and remastered for no apparent reason, just simply because they want money, okay? And yes, you could say, Savior, what's the big deal? This is for people who haven't experienced the games before and they want to play it with high-end graphics, okay? Well, yeah, I guess there's a, you know, there's an audience and there's a demographic for that, but to me, graphics, okay, don't really matter. You know, if the hardware is old, for example, and it doesn't run as smoothly, then yeah, that's an issue. For example, the Ratchet & Clank, the original one, on PS3, runs at 60 FPS and it's amazing. But then they remastered it and basically ruined the whole game, made it complete trash, and, you know, basically made it this horrible movie tie-in reboot so they could sell it to the masses and the dumb audience out there. And they made it, you know, all shiny and beautiful, but the gameplay was absolutely trash. And this is the thing, okay, with remasters. They can cram on all this extra beautiful graphics, but actually it just leaves the game feeling empty and hollow, in my opinion. And also the big problem is they go out of their way to actually censor the original experience. You would have to be a pretty sad soy boy to actually care about the censorship in Mass Effect Legendary Edition, because, you know, all they're doing is removing a few angles, but it's the principle, okay? It is the principle, and I do understand why people are annoyed and they want to boycott it simply for that reason alone. The reason why Mass Effect Legendary Edition isn't worth it, just encouraging endless remakes, endless reboots, endless remasters, redesigns, okay? You know, it just never ends. It's just completely transparent to me that it just shows that all of these game developers, they don't care about making an original, authentic experience with original and unique ideas and unique, fun gameplay mechanics, okay? They just care about making money, and just the shock factor, the wow factor of the graphics is what pulls most people in, but they're just reselling you the same old game. And yeah, you can buy it again if you've never played it, and I can understand that for people who haven't played it, then yes, that's a great, unique experience and it's up to date, but for most people who have played these original games, it's just so lazy. And, you know, I'm not boycotting all remasters. Some of these remasters are absolutely incredible. They actually redesign the whole game and they make it completely a unique experience, like Final Fantasy, for example, but then there are just lazy remasters instead of remakes. And basically what this is just a reskin of absolute corporate trash. If you haven't played Mass Effect, the original trilogy before, then yes, this is probably a great way to jump into it and experience it with, you know, up-to-date graphics and all that stuff. But for most people who have experienced it, why would you go back and repurchase something that you have already played before? It just doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. And if we keep supporting this tradition, it's like a new form of microtransactions, if you ask me. They basically were so greedy with that whole microtransaction approach and, you know, in-game currencies and stuff like that, and it did finally get called out, but they're still doing it. So they found a new angle, which is these remasters and remakes, which people don't seem to have a huge amount of problem with, simply because, you know, it does update it. But basically what they're doing is they're just selling the same old thing. And if we keep doing this, the whole ecosystem and industry of making new IPs and making original ideas simply will stop existing, because the monopoly will be these big gaming companies realizing that they can make the same amount of money with bare minimum effort, and that is the problem with Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Those are just my thoughts and opinions. I might be wrong, but they're just my opinions. Let me know yours down below in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Have yourselves a great day. What was that? Bye bye.